VIR was awesome, kind of just easy stress reliever event. The bash events, I'll usually kind of drive the car a little bit more aggressive for that aspect, but I'm usually still always just trying to go absolutely as fast as I can. Next, we got FD Orlando that we're going to be heading into. It's a home track for me, so I've got hours upon hours of experience there, so I'm pretty comfortable there at that track. We didn't really make any changes to the car since our VIR trip. More or less, we just kind of put some fresh tires on it and went. On Thursday, we got to the event, got everything set up. Got the cars warmed up and ready for practice. We got 2 practice sessions. Finished out the first session, we had a couple-hour break, and then we went into our second practice to where I got a good bit more runs. The grid was moving pretty fast, so it was nice to just have some extra runs before qualifying. I think I made contact with the rear bumper on the wall probably 85% of the runs I did. Like I said, I was super comfortable with the track, kind of know where the wall's at and know how to put the bumper there. And I think I tore the bumper off a couple times and we ended up putting it back on a couple times throughout practice. But other than that, I mean, the car was running great. It was definitely a hot day, so we're just trying to keep cool for a lot of it. First run out, I believe I got it was 85, which put me in first place qualifier right off the bat. My second run is coming up, so I figure I'm going to push a little bit more to try and get a little bit more points out of it if I can. Went a little bit deeper into the upper bank wall than I kind of planned on. It made the car bobble a bit, so definitely didn't better my first. But at that point, I was still sitting in first, so I was completely fine with that. The second to last run actually was Landerville. He went out and I think rolled a 86 or an 87 score. He ended up knocking me down out of first, put me in second. You know, he put down an amazing run and it looked awesome, so I was stoked to just be at least in the top 2. My first battle put me up against Lardi. He drives an E46 BMW, makes pretty good power. I think it's probably about the same as mine. Because I was the higher qualifier, I led first, and I pretty much ran as best of a qualifying run as I could. Bumped the wall a little bit around the first turn, came down, got the first front clip, transitioned through, and was just forward all the way to the end at that point. The second run where I followed, I believe initially I was a bit higher on the bank and noticed he was at a little bit lower line, so I kind of did what I could to kind of steer the car back to him. Just kind of dive, you know, through the transition as quick as I can to try and get the car set up for the final turn to get as close to him as I can. I was completely blinded by the smoke and kind of was just feeling the ending of the track out just by really the sound of his car following it. Luckily, I didn't run into him. I didn't kind of shoot myself off course. I was able to finish the run, in which the judges awarded me the win. So my next battle I was up against was Jeff Jones. Jeff, he goes out to just drive absolutely as much as he can and literally drives just balls to the wall. I know he's also one of the people that are just committed when they go to drive, so I know there's never any worry with driving with Jeff if there's going to be any kind of, you know, funny play or kind of mixed driving with that. Following him, he's just going to be in it to win it, and I'm going to be right behind him doing the same thing. contact with the wall on my lead run, was able to keep the car composed, and ran the line that I've been pushing for and going all day. Second run, I go to follow. I could see him within a few feet from me, obviously not as close as I wanted to be, but I felt okay with it. I was doing what I could to try and dial in a little bit more grip out of my car, just playing with throttle a little bit to kind of reel him in if I could. When I took that little bit of a shallower line, I nailed the second front clip on the track and kind of got the deduction there for that, but was able to take in the proximity I needed and finish out the run within a closer distance than it was in the bank, so I felt pretty good about the run. We pull up to the line where they announce who the winner is, and it took them a little bit. I think they reviewed both runs. They deemed it a one more time. My spotter's already communicated with me saying, you did absolutely great on the first run. He's like, the only thing I think that they dinged you on was hitting that front clip following him. Just kind of run it, you know, what you're gonna do, but know that he's probably gonna be driving that much harder just as you're gonna try and drive that much harder. Being that we got it one more time, it was kind of a last chance for both of us. And so on the run up, I gassed it as hard as I could to try and get out of the hole and initiate it up into the first turn. And which, being that I was already hitting the wall ever so slightly all my runs before, put me in a bit harder this time for when I got the car settled and then into the turn. The front end was coming up to the wall, and that was all there was to be about it. There was nothing I could have done at that point. The suspension obviously was a bit busted up, the alignment was out. You know, we called our 5 minutes because we did have a follow run that I still had to do in order to complete the pair of runs. During the 5-minute call, all the guys hustled. We got pretty much all the rear arms done on the car, and we left the front end to worry about last. I figured it was just gonna be a tie rod, and it was gonna be anything big, just something we can swap out real quick and go. At that point was when we noticed that, unfortunately, it wasn't the tie rod that had bent. I'd actually blown out the threaded end of the rack and pinion itself. Unfortunately, we'd used our time on the rear of the car more so than the front, so there was no way to fasten a tie rod to it that would have been safe to even make a pass. Once we noticed this, we had to bow out of competition and award Jeff the win, so he was able to move on to the final four. Being that this is a home track event, Enjuku had a booth out there, so Saturday I kind of had some booth duty. So most of the day we were kind of hanging out. We would, you know, take some time, walk up, watch some runs, and go back to our booth and kind of hang out for a little bit. We had a little autograph session for about an hour or so with me, Nate, and Josh, which was awesome because then at that point that brings a bunch of fans over. So we get to meet a bunch of cool people that are, you know, into the cars. They love the company that I work for, Enjuku, which is awesome to hear. Just that there's such a big fan base for us and that they support us in racing and all that. It's a good time when you get to do it. You get to meet a lot of awesome people that are stoked on the sport and just stoked to be out there, even though it's like 103 degrees in Florida with 180% humidity. The fans are all about it, so it's awesome.